Duncan Mercury, originally from Sipawishtik, which is also known as Grand Rapids, Manitoba. I'm making my 67th turn around our little star this Friday. I'm a writer, storyteller, mostly traditional oral storytelling that I learned from my kuka.
My name is Casey Adams. My Cree name is Kappa Fam Epimanat Mikitsuaswayu, which means flying overhead in circles eagle woman. My mother's family is from Fisher River. My father's family is from Peguis. I'm based here in Winnipeg, and I am a visual artist.
My mother went to a residential school, so she always had that love of reading. So we had books all the time in the house, all kinds of books. So we weren't censored on what we could read. And so I read from there, and I realized that there were two aspects of storytelling: one from the traditional, from my kukum, and from also from writing. So all over the years, that's how I learned from, I would say, from the street as opposed to working from or living or learning from the university.
And that's interesting because I was the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I went to university at Concordia and got trained as a visual artist. And for the past 20 years, I've been practicing um, and trying to get away from my education. And that's through talking with elders and learning more about my culture. So Duncan and I had bumped into each other, and I had gone on a hydro trip to learn about how hydro has affected northern communities. And during that trip, I took a lot of video and a lot of photos. And he had talked about hydro in some of his poetry. And so I thought it would be a really great idea if we could collaborate, where I could take my images and his words and bring it together in a project.
So I figured, yeah, I could do with something like this. I could start writing about that. What this is what the image looks like, and I might be able to write something about what I remember it as, because this is the way it is now. But what I remember, it could be a little bit different than the way it is now. Along with the rapids, that's completely gone. It's silent. The river is basically dead as far as I'm concerned, and we're slowly killing the lake at the same time. This is our story. This is who we are. This is how we identify as people.
It's so important that we do see this different perspective, that we do look to the people from um, that traditional background, so that we can bring that forward and educate others. Because I think that's one of the things that we do as artists, is we educate. The most important thing is talking to the program officer, and then they'll help you find out what's realistic, and they will look over your application and tell you where you need to improve upon. And I think that's really important from people who've never applied for a grant. It's tough, but it's doable. I'm proof positive that it can happen.
It was great. I had no problem with people I worked with. Overly friendly though.
before or have ever sat on a jury. So you don't know how competitive it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
I guess to me the big thing would be just get over your shyness. It's very, very shy up north. They won't talk, and especially when it comes to writing. When I talk to them about writing, and you have to talk about that work that you're doing. You have to read it out loud. You know, you're not reading to yourself anymore. You're actually reading to an audience. And if you're going to be applying for grants, you better learn how to read in front of people. You have to share in front of people because they're going to expect you to do that. So if you get a grant, they expect you to share that work with the people. And it's always like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. You know, I can't stand in front of people. Things like that. And so I just told them, yeah, that's the way I was when I first started. You know, I couldn't.
Same here.
I had a heck of a time standing in front the first time I did a reading. And it was just a small group I was writing with. That's where I had a hard time getting up. And then once I got over that one, and then we did the reading a few days later for a main show. And I realized, holy shit, there's a lot of people in here, you know. Panic set in, you know.
Yeah.
But then I realized, okay, I have to get out there. I have to get out there and do this. So it came easier. It didn't. The panic never stopped.
Yeah.
And I tell the young writers, this is, if you ever lose a panic, you've lost it.
Yeah.
So you always have to have that little bit of fear when you walk in there, because if you don't have that anymore, you're just mouthing the words. You know, you're not performing for the people anymore. So
Yeah, I was the shyest kid you'll ever meet. I mean, I was shy, like northern shy, and I realized quickly that I had to get over that, and it was really, really tough. But it was just like Duncan said, it's so important to step out of your comfort zone because people want to hear you talk about your work. They want to hear you explain what they're looking at, and